We're here now with Ace Phillips, one of our trainers, as well as one of our JavaScript extraordinaires, to work through our security, sharing a little touch of JavaScript also. So Ace, we have some special requirements because this is a school, right? And schools always have special requirements like healthcare.
Yes.
So in our case, we want to make sure that Powder's House is broken down into a number of regions, that you're never allowed to see a student outside of your region, or school in our case, right? That's how our frame of thinking would be. How would we go about kind of structuring that to make sure, because Dataverse has row-level security,
right?
But if we do row-level security, I can't see your data and you can't see my data, almost too restrictive then.
So in that case, what we would probably want to do is have business units. That sounds more like what we want. With the business unit, you have the ability to work with groups of people, so that way if you are in the same business unit as somebody else, you can see their records, but you can't see records from across different business units.
Oh, awesome. It also has the ability, nice about business units, they can be hierarchical, right?
Yeah.
So I can make it where you are a Southeast regional sales rep who reports to the Southeast, who reports to corporate, so you can make it where a little hierarchy kind of falls up there as well.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So I think our first step then is to go back to make.powerapps.com, and we want to go to the admin center. So how do we go about doing that again?
One thing you want to do to get to the admin center is you're going to go up to the top right of your screen and look for this little settings icon here. Once you click on that, you can go to the very first link to the admin center. What that'll do is it'll take you to the admin center for your tenant, and you can drill down to find your environment. Now, in our case, we want to go over here to the left to our environment, and we're going to choose our Potter's House dev environment because that's the one that we are currently working in.
Mm-hmm. And yours may be different, of course, name, but it's fine.
Here we can see all of the details for our environment, but the really big thing that I want to focus on is right over here on the right. It might be in a different area for you, but on the right for us, we have this access panel, and I want to get to this business units at the very bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and see all of my business units, and I only have the one for my organization, which is totally fine.
And that's default, right? So every organization, this is the same name as the URL at one point.
Correct.
So ideally, we should probably rename that. Let's go and do that first, maybe. Let's rename that something that's more applicable to us, like Potter's House, maybe.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we will go ahead and click on the three dots that are right next to this.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. So if three dots doesn't work, just click directly on the name and it'll take you into the details for that business unit. To edit the business unit, what you'll need to do is at the top right of the details card, there will be a purple edit button here. We're just going to click on that, and it's going to give us all of the details for a particular business unit. Now you can fill this in if you want to, but I am just going to change the name of it and leave it at that.
Now this is not required by any means, but we're just trying to make it where it's a little simpler to kind of visualize.
Yes. Very visual person. I need to see that I have the right business units in my environment. So I'm just going to name this as Potter's House. And I'm going to hit this purple save at the bottom. And that's about it. Now we have it nice and done.
So I'm going to create, let's just do two business units. They actually have more than that, of course, but we'll just do two for the purpose of our demonstration. How about we do Guatemala City and Chiquimula, those two.
So what we'll do is we'll go back out to our business units here. And we are going to go to the new business unit button. All right, so a few things. Once this pops in, you'll see that under the parent business unit, it automatically has filled in what our tenant level business unit is. That is by default. You can change this if you have multiple others that you want to do. So let's say we want to do for the Southwest region or the Northeast region, whatever the parent business unit for that region would be, that's what you would fill in here.
Okay, so you can have a parent called East Coast, and then Southeast would be underneath that potentially.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
So let's start with our new business unit of Guatemala City.
Okay, glad you can spell better than I can.
Took a lot of Spanish. All right, so once I have this business unit created, I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Whoops.
Okay, and we have one more. This will be Chiquimula.
Chiquimula.
Let's see your spelling this time.
Chiquimula.
It's your buffer too.
Got it.
Actually, you spelled it right. I think my eyes can't see it, but I'm assuming you spelled it right.
Chiquimula.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So we're going to hit save on that one again. So now we have our two business units. Now there's a few things that we can do with these business units right off the bat. We can assign users to our business units if need be. We need to...
Let's go ahead and create one. Yeah. Let's create a user. But we'll come back to that after we create our security role, because we're going to want to create a role for them eventually also.
Of course.
So when it comes to security, what Ace is about to do is she's about to go back to the solution, and they're going to create a security role. And when you're creating a new business user, it might be Dwayne or whomever, you'll give him two roles. you'll give them a basic user role, and you'll also give them whatever that ACE is about to build for us. So it'll be called maybe like teacher role or something like that, something that's simple like that to deal with. So let's go back to our solution ACE.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to go back to our first tab here. And I'm actually going to close the settings tab because it will stay open if you do not close it. But on the left here, I'm going to go to my solutions tab here. And then I'm going to find my Potter's House Treasure System solution. And what I'll do here is I'm going to go up to the new at the very top. Now, I do have security roles already in here, but I want to create a brand new one. I don't necessarily need to go to the security roles tab. I can just create it from the top here.
Yeah, I've already created these 2 security roles for you. However, if you want to get some experience yourself, go ahead and play along with us. And we're just going to call this something completely different, but the other 2 are actually doing all the heavy lifting for you.
Yep. All right, so we're going to go over to the security side of this. And what we want to do is in that security area, we're going to go down to where it says security role in that little menu that pops up here.
Cool.
All right, so this is where we get to have the most fun. We're going to come up with some role name, assign business units, all of that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So let's do Potter's House.
ACE, maybe? Yeah. If we can kind of find it easy here in this case.
Fair enough, yeah.
Now, obviously, you would pick a better name, but we already have these roles done. We're just going to make it something we can delete easily here.
Of course.
On the business unit side, how about we keep it at the higher level, and then that way it'll roll down to all the children business units also.
Absolutely. So what we'll do for that is we're going to choose Potter's House because it is our top level.
Okay.
All right. So
that looks good.
that does look good.
All right, so cool. So we'll save this. They've changed this interface quite a bit since I first built my security videos years ago.
Yeah.
All right, now this is a very new interface now. We're just going to do a few of our tables. The full table list will be on the side of ACE right now. So you'll see on the side of ACE, you'll see a list of tables that we're about to do security on. Each of them are maybe a little different here, but let's go through ACE and do the core ones here, like contact. That's a student, right?
Yeah. So what we'll want to do here is we have show all tables here. Instead of scrolling through this giant list of tables, what I can instead do is I'm going to go up to the top right and just type in contact.
Okay. And we're going to pretend this is for a teacher.
Okay.
So a teacher should not be able to create a new student or delete a student.
Okay.
But they should be able to update the student and maybe do some of those like append and append to, append records to it.
Got it.
And then maybe assign and share as well. So let's kind of walk with that.
Okay. So if we want the teacher to not have the ability to create or delete students, we aren't going to give them any permissions on this create or delete side. However, if we do want them to have the ability to read, write, and do append to all the extra fun things for their business unit, we need to assign them a business unit level security on those areas here. So for read, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click into this row. I'm going to leave create alone. Switching over to read, I'm going to choose the business unit option. So that way they can only read the records that are within their business unit. So we have that done. Let's do it also for write. So same thing, click the drop down and go to business unit. And we're going to do the same thing for append, append to, assign, and do we want to do share?
Yeah, let's do share also.
Let's share.
So append and append to, what do those do?
So append and append to, if you have relationships between tables, append allows you to append allows you to take a table and append something to the context, so like relate a record from a one to a many. Append to is the opposite direction. So you can append one record to many others.
Like lookups and those kind of things.
Yeah.
And share and assign are special as well. While ACE is doing this, a share will allow ACE to share their record with another teacher potentially in a different center, where the assign is going to move that record from ACE to another teacher at a different facility potentially also. So assign, it will disappear from ACE's view and show up on another teacher's view, where share will show up on both of their views. So this looks pretty good then. So now you've done all this work now. Is it possible to copy that work into other ones now also?
Absolutely. So what you would do is you have two ways of doing this sort of copying method. So you can either do these three dots that are next to that table name and go to copy table permissions, or up at the top in the ribbon, you have the ability to click this copy table permissions button, and save all our changes, and then it'll allow us to copy those records. Now,
gotcha.
It's going to pull up this panel here, and you can copy it to as many tables as you would like. So what do we want to add this to? Do you want to add this to?
Well, let's not. 'Cause it's not perfect quite yet.
Fair enough.
There's also like the attendance has a different security kind of posture.
Okay.
So let's go to the attendance now. So attendance, the teachers can create the records. They can delete the records.
Right.
So they can do everything with it at the business unit level. So it's pretty much striped all the way across at the business unit level. So if you select it this time, you hit the 3 dot on that. What happens if we go to permission settings? What does that do?
So permission settings gives you a sort of template level of permissions that you can apply to a particular table or set of tables. What we want to do is...
Unfortunately, the template does not exist in this case. Yeah, it's nice for some like lookup tables and those kind of things, but for business unit level stuff, it does not do it yet, unfortunately. I just want to kind of show that it was here.
Yeah. So we could apply full access, anything like that, but we want to limit this to the business units. So we aren't going to use these permission settings. We're actually just going to go in and update these drop downs here. So
it'll be pretty much org all the way across then. Not org, business unit level.
Yes.
Yeah, business unit all the way across.
All right. So.
And this would be a great application after ACE is done with this of copying the permissions down, because this table will match about 8 of the tables. And again, those are on the side of ACE's head where you can kind of see a list of all those tables. But we're not going to go through all those tables right now. If you wanted to, you can actually see the teacher policy in the solution file that's already complete. There's one more use case, ACE, and that's going to be the grade table, where they need to be able to read the grades. This is like reading the grade levels, like first grade, second grade, third grade.
Right.
So they need to be able to read those grades and not be able to do anything else with it other than just read them and attach to them, basically.
Awesome. Okay. So, and these grades aren't restricted by business unit, right? They're just for the whole organization?
The whole organization, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So for this one, we're actually just going to search again for that grade table. All right. All I want to do is give them read access. So I can just click into this. And if I want to give them access to all of the grade records in the entire organization, I am just going to set it to organization level.
Cool. While you have that drop-down box, can we take a look at a few more things here also?
Sure.
So what do the other settings here largely do?
So for user, we want to, so let's say for this read permission here, right? For the user table, or sorry, the user option rather, if the user had created the record or they were an owner of the record, they would have the ability to read that record. So let's say for our parent-child business unit, the best way of describing that, so if we're sticking to the region...
yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. So let's say you're part of the Southwest Region 2, right? But you want to be able to see all of the grades within the Southwest region. So you would set it to parent-child business unit to say, I want to see all of the grades for the Southwest Region 2.
Yeah. So this is many school districts from the United States also have the same model, right? Where they have all the schools are represented as business units, and then above that school is a region, and above that is the overall school district. So if I am the regional manager, I can see any schools underneath me. That's what that hierarchy does there in that case. The last one I think is, of course, none makes sense. User, again, is like row-level security, where ACE can only see the records they create, and then the business unit we've been doing org lets you see all records. So, all right, cool. Now they know.
All right, so.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. All right, I'm going to save all of my changes here. So if you want to, you can clear out these messages up here. I don't. But all right, let's go ahead and back out of here now that we're done with this.
I think that's good. So we, of course, had a lot more to go over. But rather than have you watch us do 8 more tables, you can pause us if you like and do them that way, or just use the role that I've already created for you. All right. Okay. So Ace, how do we assign this to a user now?
Okay, so this is where we can kind of back out of here.
Let's hypothetically, the role is going to be called, I think it's called Potter's House. Was one called also Potter's House Teacher, I believe?
Correct. So
let's use that role.
Awesome. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll go over to the Admin Center. So we'll switch over to that second tab that I have here. And what I want to do is I'm actually going to back out to my Potter's House dev environment.
Okay.
And I'm going to go same access panel. I'm going to go to users this time because I want to assign this security role to some users. So let me go ahead and go into my users here. All right, so I have a list of all of the users in my tenant here. What I want to do, or rather, a list of the users that are able to access this environment. What I want to do is I want to assign my teacher level security role to one of my users here. Now I am going to find someone here.
There she is.
I'm going to go with Amelia. Yeah, okay. I bug her a lot with my TikToks all the time, so I'm going to bug her with more teacher stuff now.
Now we see she's a user. We never added Amelia, but because we did no security, Amelia is showing up in here in this list here. Correct. However, she can't do anything in this in
No.
this environment right now because it says roles, none provided.
Correct.
So it's 2 roles we have to do.
Yes.
What's our core role when we want?
So the core role that we want to assign to Amelia right now, so she just has the ability to do anything really, is going to be the basic user role. So that's going to give her some basic level permissions for our environment here. And then we are also going to assign her that teacher role, so that way she has the ability to see the students in her business unit and kind of make some changes to their attendance and grades.
Awesome. Let's do that then.
All right. So what we'll do is in Amelia's panel here, we're going to go to manage roles.
Now, before we do that, she works in Chikimula.
Okay. So we need to change the business unit that Amelia is assigned to here. Now, in our organization information, we can see that her business unit right now is Potter's House, the main business unit that we have. So we're going to change her business unit here. So I'm just going to click on Change Business Unit, and it's going to give me a little drop down here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose Chikimula, and I am going to hit OK here.
Now, if we'd done the role first, and Ace had done this, it would have basically wiped out all the security roles unless we had some advanced settings turned on.
Yep.
So kind of a pain in the butt.
Yep, just a little bit. All right, so we're changing over the business unit now. And now we can see that the business unit is Chikimula. So let's assign our role now. All right, let's manage our role. And there is not a search here, which is
Unfortunate,
sad.
yeah.
So first thing, actually let me scroll back up. We need to assign the basic user role. And then we're going to also check the box next to the Potter's House. Where is it?
And while Ace is looking for that, the basic user role has a list of things like contact table already allowed for only records that you have created. And it has something for accounts and then some things for like what you can do as far as exporting data, importing data. If you're not fine with that as that level of access, you can always clone that role and make a basic user role for your company also.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we have assigned her 2 roles, and then once I hit save, she will have those updated, and you can see them right here.
Now we got to share this app with her also. So there's a few ways we can do that. We have a few different apps, Canvas app and a model-driven app, but let's just do the model-driven app first.
Okay.
And could we go to that solution and show that really nifty way of sharing? Ideally, we could share it with her individually, but ideally, anybody that has that teacher role, I want them to be able to see that application. Okay. So could we go over to that app and then let's try that 3 dot next to that. The app that Matt picked was the last one there, Potter's House Back Office.
All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to go over to this share here. So if I click the 3 dots and I go down to share. All right, so I have the option to enter a name, an email address, or a group. So,
well, let's this is a new way that I found we can do it also. If we select that app up top, yeah, it's kind of cool. You'll see the security roles there.
Nice.
And then if you go and select that drop-down box, now there's a whole bunch of ways we could have done this.
Yeah,
Ace is going the right direction here. But if we do it this way, anybody that has that teacher role, that Potter's House teacher role, will automatically get access to the application, the model-driven application. So now when we come back here sometime, the first time Amelia tries to access a record, we'll see them in this list here. Now for the Canvas app, definitely going to be the way you were going. Let's do that one next. So let's go ahead and share that with Amelia. That's shared it with Amelia there.
Perfect.
And then we close that. Let's go to this health evaluation app, which is the Canvas app that John built with us.
Got it.
So let's go to that.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and go to the 3 dots next to the health evaluation app and hit share. All right, so we can see that we have our list of users that we shared it with. Just for the purposes of this, we just have Brian, but we want to add Amelia to this.
And yes, one of the most common questions that we get asked is, can we add groups? You can most certainly add groups here as well.
Yep. All right, so, but for right now, let's just get Amelia in here, and I'm going to uncheck this box here. All right.
You don't want to send her emails?
No, there's enough of them coming in. Okay, so
this looks good. Let's go ahead and, yeah. Now, Amelia will need a license to run the application here. We're in a development environment, so they can still go through and modify the app or see different parts of the app. But,
correct, yeah.
But in this case, that's all set.
Yeah, all right, we're all set here.
So we've walked through now securing it, and there's a lot more to security.
Yes.
There is a great class on that we just released called Power Platform Administration. Now, Ace, let's go into some areas that are your magic power.
Okay.
All right. So one of the requirements that Potter's House had, and we won't go through all this. It's when I show that you can do this.
Yes.
One of the requirements they had, if we open up that app, I think we might have it open somewhere here. Maybe.
Is this one here?
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
So if I click on Jim Glenn, for example, it would be really nice, since Jim is a treasurer in this case, that we automatically open up the treasure form.
Okay.
If Jim was a sponsor, open up the sponsor form. So that way the user's not having to flip back and forth every single time.
Okay.
One of the things we could secure this, we could say, hey, a teacher can only see this form. That's one of the form properties of security. But that could be done how? That's not an automatic feature, right?
No. So if you want something to happen based off of some sort of choice in the record or some sort of value in the record, you want to open it in a particular way, you can institute some scripts into your model-driven app and into some tables to make sure they open in a particular way.
So based on having to do JavaScript in this case, right?
Yes,
So that's the kind of scripting we're using. So John was teaching us things like powerapps, and that can be used in here.
Yes.
But for something like this, it's more like some
You have to
JavaScript.
get some JavaScript routes. All right. So for this, it's actually fairly simple. So the first thing you would want to do, we are not going to go full in depth into how to write JavaScript, how to set up this information on the form level. If you do want to learn about JavaScript, I do have a course on our ODL, which is Introduction to JavaScript, which will get you the basics of what JavaScript is and what it can do for you.
ODL's on-demand learning, by the way.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. So can you show us what that JavaScript might look like at a high level?
Sure.
Then just to kind of give people a little taste of your superpower.
All right.
So we're just going to show briefly like a few lines of this code of what you can do, but this was brought into your view, your form. Well, where did you bring it into in this case?
So on this one, I brought it into the actual table metadata. So on this one, this is a tool that I like to use. XRM Toolbox has the ribbon workbench. That can allow you to modify the buttons that appear at the top of a grid, form, whatever.
So the new button, or the edit, when you click on a actual contact, it will then trigger at that point.
So you will never see the button that I created, but that is intentional. But here's at a very high level what this does. Whenever you click on a record, there is this function that triggers here, open by type. What it'll do is it'll find whatever record you have selected, the very first one, and then it's going to retrieve that record. So essentially going to make an API call to Dataverse, say, hey, what does this record actually say? Then once we retrieve the record, we're going to see what is the contact type. I need to know whether or not they are a treasurer, former treasurer, the parent or guardian, or for any other types, they would use the sponsor form. When I have this contact type equals, these are the different values for what that treasurer, for the contact type would be. And that'll determine which form is opened.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So can we open up, while I'm talking here, would you mind opening up another form also? Just any form, any old form here. That'll work. No, sorry, actually in design mode, sorry.
Design mode, absolutely.
Yep. So this JavaScript can be used to extend. There's a lot of extra things like business rules and other things like that you can use in PowerFX to simplify it where you don't have to learn JavaScript. But if you want to get that extra cherry on top, sometimes it requires a person like Ace who has her JavaScript chops to basically go through that. Now, Ace's class is awesome at doing that. Now, Ace, one more thing here. If we select any of these columns here, you're going to see on the far left side a JavaScript panel on the left side. And I noticed, how do we tie like the first name? Once you upload that on the left side, I see the event tab there. Would you mind just clicking on that, just poking around for a quick second?
Yeah. So on the event tab here, you have the ability to add a bunch of different functions and behaviors to your form and to particular columns or fields in your form based on certain things. So you have things like on save, on load. If you change a column if you change the value in a column, it can perform some sort of action.
Awesome. So this is a way of really tuning that application, maybe masking fields out or saying, hey, if you select this one type, then go into a special lookup. There's a lot of different use cases for this. Ace does a lot of this on their side, but this is a pretty awesome tool for rapidly building up an application.
Yeah.
Well, Ace, is there anything else that we missed that you want to cover, or is this a good starting point?
I think this would be a pretty good stopping point for
Awesome.
us.
Well, there's a lot of videos you can find on what we covered today. Ace, again, has a JavaScript class, but we also have done a whole bunch of videos on YouTube around how to secure your systems, business unit level security, row level security, hierarchy security, all that mess as well. So at this point, we are rocking and rolling. We have an application built, we have it secured, we have it shared, and now we're ready to go to our next step. So stay tuned.